endgames are the most common endgame in chess, and argue that the most important endgame in chess because it takes to the heart of all chess endgames and the fact that we have a king, we have a piece, but we have also pawns. And we'll just learn in this video today to go beyond the basics and learning how to convert those pawns to win with the rook and king. So the first endgame is this one. And this is coming from a game that 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐫𝐞 played. He's a world chess champion, and he showed this really educational game on how to properly win rook endgames. So the first thing you know is that white has a pass pawn, action pawn to be able to score to b8 and make a new queen easily, but you gotta know how. Even still, if you just promote that pawn, you want to make sure that you have a resource to win the game, not just draw. But one thing you have to answer before that is, where do you want to have your rook? You want to be beside the pawn, ahead of the pawn like this one, check there, or behind the pawn, so A, B, or C. But you want to have your rook behind the pawn. Yes, 𝐸𝐵𝐞 played rook b1 in the game. So basically, making it easier to have the pass pawn be supported, going off the board without being lost. So, 3 facets about winning rook games, especially you have a pass pawn like this. So we have the rooks and the kings. You want to be active for both of them, but you have to be relative to the pawns you have. So we have an extra pawn, a pass pawn. We want to just play relative to that, and maybe we can use this pawn be a distraction. We don't have to have the pawn will be all the way to b8, but we can distract the enemy forces enough to have our king be super active to win the game and maybe pick up these 2 guys on a7 and g7. So in the game, king f7 was played and just basically wants to have the king be helping the rook to take that pawn. Take a pawn out as much as possible. So b5 was played, king e6 was played, b6 was played, and black has to do rook c8. There's no other options. So if they go king d6 or king d7, doesn't matter, then b7 just wins the game outright. There's no way to stop that pass pawn, be promoted, and white just easily wins the game. So then this is forcing the hand for black to go rook c8 to block this promotion for now. So a lot of beginners at this point, just make the mistake, just like, oh, pass pawns must be pushed, being dogmatic that just the rules of always true. It's always true. You have to pass the pass pawn if you had it just right now. Pushing baby, whatever. Don't be too dogmatic, because this will be just losing the pawn for free, and that'll be a draw. But instead, white should bring in the other forces, primarily the king. So we have to go in the game, 𝐸𝐵𝐞 play h3 to make sure that the king can escape and just support this sort of advantage for the king. So king d6 was played, king h2 was played by black, and after b, like rook b8, king g3, just have, like I said before, a distraction. Don't worry about this pawn right here, just worry about your king activity. So rook takes b6, rook takes b6 there, king e5, and this is the other thing, is a transformation. Basically, transformation is basically having an endgame be changed to another endgame. Basically, now is the king and pawn endgame. With you knowing king and pawn endgames, you know the concept of shouldering. Basically, you shoulder the king, enemy king, from doing anything of influence to save that pawns on g7, h7, and the game was won easily by 𝐸𝐵𝐞, and the game was easy to convert as white. So the second position is this one, and you're playing black. And the question to you is, do you want to take the h3 pawn or the a3 pawn? What do you want to do? The answer is you want to take the h3 pawn. Rook takes h3, and it doesn't matter. Like, oh no, what do you do about this middle eagle? You lost the a7 pawn. But the thing is, black has the ace pass pawn. Also, the king is in the same hemisphere as this pass pawn, is able to support that as well. But if you do the other one, let's say do this one, it's fine for whites. Just take this pawn. It's like, oh, I have a pass pawn. Middle eagle, no problems. Well, they take this one. It's like, oh, hey, we could take the rook and we have a b pawn, not the a pawn. But still, this h4 thing is annoying. The king is nowhere in the hemisphere of the b pawn. It'll be likely a draw, I say. And you don't want to do this at all. So going back to the position with the h pawn being taken, we have a lot of avenues. This one, h5. And there's no reason why we have any struggles because we can do this eyeing on the a pawn as well, from far away, h4, king g4, whatever, g5, and black has a lot of chances to win this one compared to the other line with taking a3. The third and final rooking position that you need to know how to properly play the rooking games is this one. And you're playing black, and you have a passed pawn. That is really close to promotion. But how do you win? How do you promote the pawn? How do you just win this rooking game? And the question is, how do you push the passed pawn? First of all, you need to get the rook out of the way. The e1 rook is blocking that passed pawn to promote. So naturally, you want to have to move away the rook. But you can't do that now because we're losing the pawn and tears are involved. But naturally, black has to move like king f3, defend the passed pawn and having the rook move away, something like this one, and win the game. So now white does this cheeky plan of doing king d7, taking the pawn, but naturally moves like this is really the best move, defend the pawn, and also running to promote. But white does have one last cheeky trick. They go king c8. Don't promote the pawn now. Don't. Because there'll be a lot of tiers involved. This one, and take the c pawn. They have a passed pawn. This is going to be coming, and this is not a win for black. It'll be a draw, zeros on the scoreboard, and it's not good. So instead, you want to have this sort of really good maneuver that you need to do to win this endgame. So the situation like this comes up, where it has an easy plan of doing this one and this one, but there's a way now to force this passed pawn to be there and having it not be traded by the rook. How do you do that? You want to do this one. You want to do rook c3 to e3 and just basically sheltering the pawn when it goes to e1 promotion. And this point, you don't have any options. If they go king b7, rook e3 is just sliced out. And you can't do anything about this one. Take there, this is fine. Take the a pawn or c pawn, doesn't matter, and just promotes. Now let's do a really important recap on how to play this really important endgame, because this is a really typical endgame because we have a passed pawn nearly promotion because, well, they have a rook in the way. But we want to guard the pawn to have the rook all the way. But also, even further, we want to have the double back and having this rook be a blockader from the rook behind the passed pawn from the enemy forces to easily win the game. Hey, check this video out to make sure that you get more important information to bring your chess to the next level.